I'm very excited to be a part of this. We welcome him, and we now want to invite to the stage, from the back. Yes, we want to invite to the stage, from the back, our two bulls here this evening, Richard Hart and Eric Wall. Let's hear it for them.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? Thank you for coming out on such short notice. Stuff handled and the hard stuff.
Right. So it's something that you thought that I was good at.
Yeah.
Right. So the thing that I think is a bit weird now is that I was invited and asked to trash talk as hardly as I could your project, and now everyone is like, Eric, you trash talk text, and then the price went up. What the fuck?
Well, you never gave up. You stuck with it like a full-time
Yeah.
job. Like, you didn't turn it off.
To be fair, I wasn't convinced by the arguments of Hex, and but the Hex community has been like pushing me to admit that the Hex protocol is awesome, and I just kind of pushed back on those.
Well, we could just do the same. We could debate similar things now. I mean, it's whatever. It's whatever. What do you guys want to hear us talk about? I'm happy to talk about anything.
I think that maybe we should talk about pulse chain.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So you want me to start?
Yeah.
Like, I have some pretty basic questions. Like, why did you? So I know that gas fees on Ethereum are expensive. So for people to stake and unstake their Hex on Ethereum is expensive. But why did you feel that the solution to that is to launch your entire new chain? Like, what was the rationale?
Sure. So when I decided what the consensus network for Hex would be, so I knew when you create a consensus network, the ways that you get attacked usually are 51% attacks. So people go to nicehash.com, they ran a bunch of hash rate, and they 51% attack you. It makes your network unsafe. And so you can't use, if you're your own chain, you are at risk. If you're proof of work chain. The only way to not be at risk is to piggyback an existing chain with high proof of work hash rate, which Ethereum is.
Or a good proof of stake chain. There are tons of them out there. That you can
Now,
use.
3 years ago, not.
But you haven't launched yet.
Oh, for Pulse Chain?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my brain was stuck back. So with Pulse Chain, when the reason that I chose Ethereum is because it was the safest network and still is the safest protocol. You're not going to get 51% attack. You're going to get instantly plugged in with DeFi. You're going to get instantly plugged in with stablecoins. You're going to get instantly plugged in if you want to be with like options and things like that. You want to work for it. So there, you don't get that on your own chain. So now, what's the problem with that? The problem with that is because of the same pennies to end a stake, it became $1,600 to end a stake. Now, if you've got a stake worth $800 and it costs $1,600 to end it, you just lost all your money. And Vitalik screwed us hard, very hard. So this was the screwing that came from being very popular. You have a limited resource that everyone wants to use. Then we got extra screwed from Vitalik. He literally raised the cost to write to disk, the SLOAD function, by something like 20-fold the price.
I know.
And he purposely screwed interesting use cases like ours that actually have to use
I know.
business logic and thought it was fine. So
I
he
know.
gave other users a discount by screwing my people.
But you remember our conversation back in 2019? It was at the same conference in Malta, where I explained the concept of a layer 2 solution on Ethereum called
Layer 2's
Rollup.
trash. They're trash. They've been around forever. Like
They haven't been around forever. They're just coming online now.
no, Hex was the world's first airdrop on layer 2. We used zksync.io, not we, but like hexagons used zksync.io to airdrop 250,000 people their coins. And we're the first wallet in the world to actually show layer 2 balances. Was
I
Monarch
remember
Wallet.
that. I remember that. I was measuring that.
And just now you want to get off of that. There's nothing else on there. It's an island. And now you want to get back out. And guess what you have to do to get back out? Pay a layer 1 fee.
Yeah.
So you're just trapped on a stupid
But you
island.
could subsidize those fees. You have tons of money. You could subsidize the.
Yeah, or we could
for
just
people to
not
get
have
out.
the fees. So we could just stay on layer 1.
Oh, so it's easier for you to hire a team of 13 developers to build an entire new chain just to subsidize the fees of getting out of layer 2.
No, but layer 2s will always be trash because they don't have composability. You cannot do stuff on one layer 2 that talks to the other layer 2.
Okay, well, so
In 5 years, you might be able to.
Arbitrum, for example,
Yeah.
has tons of composability. There's tons of apps there. You have lending applications, you have leverage applications, you have decentralized exchanges. That ecosystem is more mature than what you're probably going to see Pulse Chain emerge into.
Let's measure that real quick. So we just had a sacrifice phase. And in our sacrifice phase, I can tell you the popularity in the real world of different chains by how much sacrifice occurred. The Arbitrum network got like $200 of sacrifice. AVAX got like $500,000, and Ethereum got like 50 million, or no, like billions.
What are you talking about?
The sacrifice phase
Yeah.
allowed people to
Yeah.
lose their coins across different networks. And then based on the volume per network, we can see which networks have real adoption.
I don't want to get too bogged down into
All that
details,
layer
but
two
I don't
shit has
think
adoption. It has no adoption.
I don't want to get too bogged into details, but I don't
Okay.
think that Arbitrum had like a sacrifice phase. But one question
No,
I
I'm
got-
just saying that the Arbitrum, all these other EVM networks, DAI, the XDAI one, Gnosis has one, they all, we can measure the adoption of those alternate networks by how much sacrifice came in on them. And they're all pitifully poor, joke, comedy, useless. If they weren't supported, it'd be better.
You're the only one that's doing sacrifices. No
We're
one
the
else.
only one bringing adoption to those chains. There's nothing else you can do there. So let's take Ethereum 2, okay? People say, Richard, wouldn't it be great if Pulse Chain launched before Ethereum 2.0? Yeah, it'd be okay, but it's not actually vital. And let me tell you why. People think Ethereum 2.0 is going to give them a better deal on gas. It doesn't. It does not affect gas
I know
prices.
that. I know that.
You know that, I know that, nobody else knows that. And so if it doesn't affect gas prices, who really gives a shit? And then furthermore, when Ethereum 2.0 comes out, are you getting free coins? You're getting the world's largest airdrop, you're not getting free fucking nothing.
Okay, let's zoom out. Let's zoom out.
Eric, give us a second, give us a second, we're gonna bring it back in,
Yeah,
we're gonna bring it back in, we're gonna bring it back in.
We're curious about the effectiveness of the number of people that have sacrificed to this
Sure.
thing.
Yeah.
Is it the result of tremendous marketing, or is it a result of the utility of?
They
what
just
Pulse
don't have
Chain
any
will be?
users.
So that's what I'm.
Ethereum has
wondering.
millions of users, and all these new chains that no one's ever heard of have like 10,000 users max. If you go look at ZK Sync's wallet, Hex is the majority of coins.
Why are you
in the wallet.
comparing it to ZK Zinc? Arbitrum is the largest rollup right now. And when I
Okay.
told you about this, you were super excited about it.
Yeah, because
And then you
couldn't
just
work
gave
out.
up and you did your own network. How
No, I
about
didn't
you?
give up. We're gonna end it, like, if layer 2s work, we will also have them on our chain as well.
Okay, well, I'll give you one example of what you could do right now.
Yeah.
So Avalanche has subnets.
Huh?
When you launch your own subnet, you can take the entire Ethereum state, deploy it as an Avalanche subnet, then you wouldn't have to worry about your developers being slow to deploy.
No, but that sounds like a good story, but they were originally going to do that and failed. And then you have to ask yourself why they failed to do it.
Who failed?
The Avalanche core team originally planned to make a copy of Ethereum and put it in Avalanche, and they failed to do it. And so why don't you give them a call and ask them why they didn't do it? Because from my perspective, here's what I care about. I didn't like Vitalik screwing my people.
We make it a little bit more personal.
How?
Talk about the land as well.
What?
Let's talk about the land.
Why?
Because you've been getting a lot of hate lately. People think you should
Whatever,
be at home.
whatever.
People think you should be at home coding. They think you shouldn't be on
Well-
the road, buying more Lambos, spinning on your tracks, flashing all your watches and everything else.
All right, I'll switch to it. I'm just gonna finish this one thing.
We did. 60 seconds.
All that shit you're talking about, this technically awesome and whatnot, you don't get no free coins, you don't get rich for free. People like to get rich for free. People like free coins.
You like to get rich for free.
I've mined Bitcoin for free. I got Uni for free. I got 1inch for free. I got Bitcoin for free.
And you're getting 90% of the pulse chain supply for free. Because you donated, yeah, because you donated your own coins to yourself.
Hey.
He thinks he knows about my coins.
After 60 seconds. Eric, you have an opinion that you shared with us earlier today about who his marketing tactics work on.
Yeah, I think that, well,
Share it.
okay.
Share your thoughts on his marketing tactics. Let's make this about a little bit more personal. We need to hear about Richard.
we can talk about, so Richard is not a developer. So he thinks that by marketing. The way that he markets his project is by talking about how big his dick is, how many cars he has, and how many watches he has.
True.
How many millions they are worth.
True.
That type of marketing is going to alienate 80% of people, but it's going to appeal to 20% of people. But since it's outrage marketing, so look at this because they're angry, but that 20% that look at those videos that get our audience, that 20% in nominal numbers are still going to be a big crowd. So I suppose that's what you're aiming for.
Yes, that's right. That's how this shit always works. Hex got to where it is through hatred. Motherfuckers hide us and don't let anybody see our shit. The only way that anybody hears about us is by people insulting us.
But Richard, if you were such a good marketer, why do you think that you're being censored everywhere?
Well, bro, that's the same reason I didn't know about Ethereum existing until its market cap on a year 2049 basis is already higher than Bitcoin's. I used to just read the Bitcoin subreddit. I didn't know Ethereum fucking existed. I was
That's not
surprised.
the answer to my question. I asked, why do you think that you, in particular, are getting
For
censored
the
in
same
this?
exact reason that Vitalik was on the Bitcoin forum. For the same reason BCH was on the Bitcoin forum.
He got censored on
People
the
censor
Bitcoin
everything
forum.
that they don't own.
You get censored on every single forum that is relevant to the cryptocurrency industry.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You can't even go to the US.
What are you talking about? I go to the US whenever I want. I
You
just
can go to
choose
the
not
US?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck
When was the last
cases
time
I
you
made.
went to the US?
I went to the Super Bowl in like 2006, 2006.
2006. I'm
Yeah.
talking about like when have you been able to go to the US since you launched?
Whenever I
Hex?
want.
Since
Whenever
Hex.
I want. Whenever I want. I don't have open cases.
So have you been in the US since 2019?
So let me go straight. Anybody that hasn't been to the States has charges on them or some shit? So like all of Africa has charges on them? No, like I can go there anytime I want.
Okay, so
Let me put it this way. If
you want to make a
if-
bet? You want to make a bet?
I don't need
I'll
to
make a
bet.
bet that Richard Hart won't go to the US in this year or the next year.
Have Joe Rogan invite me. Have me a good reason to be there. Every time I go to the States, it's drama bullshit. Like I'm from Miami. In Miami, you get pulled over, you might die. You're in a traffic jam, you might die. Where I'm from in America, the shit was terribly violent, terribly violent. I've had terrible personal experiences in that place. When I live in the rest of the world, I get pulled over, I'm not worried about getting shot.
You know that there's tons of Hex events in Las Vegas.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you go there?
No.
Why not?
I don't like America, bro. That's why I left.
That's where your community. That's where your community is. How come
They're
you can't
rich
go
enough
there?
to travel. Come to the better places where you don't have to wear a vest. I ain't wearing no bulletproof vest.
There is
Y'all got-
there is a very easy explanation why Richard doesn't go to the U.S. It's because he conducts illegal ICOs, basically
Yeah.
illegal securities offerings,
Nice.
where he accepts money from retail, from the public, which is under U.S. law an illegal securities offering. No matter how you want to label it, no matter how much cover your ass legally you use, the people that sacrifice to your project, they're expecting a profit from it. And you know that if you go to the U.S., you're going to get your ass handled by the SEC.
This is so easy. Okay, first of all, let's talk about illegal security offerings, okay? Who offered an unregistered, unlicensed security
So
offering?
just go to the U.S. and prove me wrong. Go to your community that is waiting for you there at Las Vegas. Just go there, hang out with them. They love you. They want you there. You would have an amazing time.
So let me
You don't
try-
need Joe Rogan. You just need your cult community that idolizes you.
I'm gonna try and talk. You're gonna cut me off. You're gonna let me talk.
Go ahead.
Okay. EOS, unregistered security offering. Anybody go jump?
They got a slap on the wrist.
They got slapped on the wrist. They raised 4.2 billion, paid 27 million fine, and got a pass to continue doing business, and are still in business today, right?
It's true.
Okay, Veritasium. He said that Jamaica was gonna start using their training to do stocks and stuff, right? Literally convicted of fraud. If you go to veryfairfund.com, there's a recovery fund to try to recover money for his victims.
So
In
what
jail.
are you, so what are you so
Reggie
afraid
Mills
about?
on the
If you're not
jail
gonna go in jail, what are you so afraid about?
I'm not afraid. I don't like going there.
You don't
It just
like
sucks.
meeting your own community?
Bro, I like my Hex community, but if I'm gonna go to America and drive the way I do, it's problems. If I go to America, I have to wear a vest and it's hot. If I go to America, it's just always crappy over there, man.
Okay, I think it sounds like a bullshit excuse.
I'm sure, because you didn't live in America. If you vacation in America, it's awesome. If you actually
You,
live
well,
there.
well, you can go on
You
vacation in
never, have you
America.
ever pulled a gun on somebody in America?
You can go in vacation in America the way that I do.
Have you ever
I love
pulled
it.
a gun on somebody in America?
I don't usually pull guns.
Okay, I have pulled a gun on somebody in America.
Well, you
Okay?
don't do that next time you go there. It'll be
Well,
fine.
I don't have to do that when I'm in places that nobody else has weapons like. This is better, bro. Like, Europe is better than America. It just is. But if
Okay.
there's a big enough reason for me to go, if I have a big, sick invite, I will go. I'm not just gonna go for PulseCon. I'm
Okay.
not. You give me a sick invite, if, what's his name? The nerd dude that does interviews.
Lex Friedman.
That dude. If Nerdman wants to invite me, I'll go. If Joe Rogan wants to invite me, I'll go.
There's a reason that they don't want to invite you, Richard.
Bro, why don't you
Because
just,
they think that you're perpetuating a scam.
dog, Interpol will arrest you, okay? If you're in the most civilized, least corrupt countries in the world, like this one, and they want you, they just come get you, man. It's not like, I just crossed like 40 borders over the last year. I'm the absolute, every time I go to get my passport renewed, I go to the American embassy, and I go renew my passport. There's no charges on me, man.
But let's stick to that. Why do you think that?
By the way,
Lex
you know the
Friedman-
SEC is not a criminal agency, it's a civil agency. They can't fucking arrest you, they can't imprison you. Do you even know that? It's a civil agency. They cannot arrest you. It's not even a fucking thing. They can refer you for prosecution to the DOJ. The DOJ, hey, who's the crypto founder that went to jail?
Arthur Hayes?
No, house arrest, 6 months.
Yeah, well, they have still arrested him.
And he's not a crypto founder.
And he could have gone to jail. Easy.
He's not even a crypto founder.
Crypto company.
He got busted for Bank Secrecy Act stuff, and like, yeah, man. The things that I'm doing, so let's have another unlicensed security thing, Tezos.
Actually, I think let's drop
How
that.
does Tezos
I think
work out?
let's drop that because I want to talk about something that's
No, but
pretty
you have like
important.
a parade of imaginary hurdles. I don't have charges on me. If I did, they would arrest my ass immediately. Anywhere. I'm only in good countries. I'm not in any shit countries. I hate shit countries. I want to be a good one.
I personally won't believe that until you go to the US.
Yeah, but you can't prove a negative. You can still have open charges on
You
it.
can't prove a negative by just going to the US and not getting arrested.
That's not how that works. They're not that good at their job. They can just forget to grab you. Like,
Sure.
Eric, I have another question.
just
Yeah.
do background checks. Like, go just background checks.
Okay, so I have another question.
We did that, we didn't find anything.
There you go.
Why do you think that Joe Rogan, Lex Friedman, none of these people are interested?
Lex Friedman invited to pay for my ticket to go to the interview. I took too long. I wanted to build Pulse instead.
You
I'll show you
should,
the
so
fucking-
you
I'll
were,
show you
you
the
were
message right now.
invited to the US by Lex
Yeah,
Friedman.
and I said,
And
as
you
soon as
didn't
Pulse is
go,
out, I'll take it. I want to show you the message right now.
but you didn't go because you were
Because I was
scared
busy
of
building
going to
something
the.
better.
Yeah.
Doc, hey guys, let me tell you a secret. If any of you are running from law enforcement, go to a country without an extradition treaty because they won't extradite you, okay? If you're worried about getting extradited, don't hang out in Sweden, the most extradite your ass possible in the entire universe country. The shit you're saying makes no sense.
Okay, so
If I'm being hunted down by people, I'm not coming with these open ass windows and telling people where I'm at, giving 20 hours notice and shit. There's none of that happening.
so let me ask you another question. When you were launching Pulse Chain,
Yeah, it's
You-
still ain't launched.
when you were thinking about launching Pulse
Yeah.
Chain,
I always told everyone I would do it. I said if Ethereum starts to suck, I'll fork the fucking
let me
network.
finish. You reached out to me and you asked me, is it possible to take the Ethereum stake and insert it into a Binance Smart Chain port?
Yeah.
And you asked me if that was feasible.
Mm-hmm,
Why do you think that I'm not even an engineer, I'm an investor.
mm-hmm.
I'm a very technical investor, but why do you think that I'm one of the few people that you can reach out to and get an answer?
Because you study consensus networks. No one else gives a fuck.
Well, there's tons of people that are
There's no
smart.
money in this shit.
No,
No
no,
one cares.
there's tons of people that are way smarter
There's
than
like
that.
8. There's like 8 people that care.
There's at least 20.
Okay, they're like, double digits, like, there's no one gives a fuck.
I'm just saying, like, I can't get the intellectual community in crypto to engage with you. They don't want
What the fuck
anything.
about these people? All crypto suck. Hey, crypto devs.
Okay,
Listen,
so-
you guys all suck. Normal devs are better than you. I'd rather hire normal devs and make them crypto devs. I don't need none of you fucking people.
Richard, do you know what the biggest danger to pulse chain is?
No.
I can explain it to you. So you fork a bunch of code from different projects, right?
Oh, you're just talking about, I know you're gonna say Oracle failures and shit.
No, that's not what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that what usually happens with sport projects is that in the main project, in the main repo, so in Binance Smart Chain, for example, or in Geth, or in Aragon, what happens is that sometimes they will discover a critical bug in one of those code bases.
Are you talking about the stuff in the EVM, like solidity stuff, or are you talking about actual node stuff?
I'm talking about any type of bug that can cause critical failure that is inherent to the code base.
So the whole system, you mean the node?
It can be something that allows people to print infinite money, like an inflation bug.
Sure. Yeah.
When they detect such a bug in the main project that you forked, they need to patch that.
Yeah.
But before they patch it and announce to the public what they've done, they need to also inform those other projects that has forked their code because they are now also vulnerable.
Yeah.
Do you think that they're going to reach out to you and say, Richard, we found a bug. We know that you forked our code. You are now also vulnerable. Please patch your code base. Otherwise, when we reveal this bug, people are going to exploit your system.
So, okay, let's name the multi-billion-dollar projects that have forked the Ethereum code base. Ready? AVAX, BSC, XGuy, Gnosis, Pro, whatever, Chronos Network. Oh, everybody forked out.
Yeah.
So the shit you're saying right now affects all the way to.
Yeah, and they reach out to those forks because they have good relationships with
Yeah.
them. You're muted. Those people have muted you on Twitter. They don't reach out to you. They don't want to talk to you. They think that you're a scammer.
Now that I've been bragging about my tech, I'm getting more engagement from those transactions.
You're getting more engagement, but you're not getting DMs that are saying, "Hey, Richard, I think there's a bug in your code." They're more like, "I hope that asshole bug screws up, so they help you solve ecosystem things."
People tend to love shit that they own, and when you hand people a bag of money, they tend to want to defend that guy. People that talk shit may not like me now will fucking love me when they get rich for free rather than nothing. I had to save Hexagons by forking Ethereum because Ethereum is fucking my people, and I let everyone else tag along for the fucking ride. They didn't have to do shit. Like, for instance, the shit guys. Shit guys are getting raped on fees for Uniswap fees. Shit guys are getting raped, by all the Ethereum problems. And I've come to save those people too for free with no dilution. Ethereum's getting diluted 1.2 million X. All the ERC20 guys are getting a free ride. These guys are getting all the benefits of being free from that horrible gas crap, right? Like the NFT guys who blow up the gas to $100 to send an Ethereum transaction.
So, Richard, you're visualizing a little bit right now. The matter of the fact is that when those repos find bugs, they're not going to inform you. You're going to be the last person to know, and you're going to be the last person to protect your chain. And even if you look beyond that, so what are the reasons that people launch a new layer one system? Either they found some new scalability advantage, some new advancements on the consensus logic, or throughput, or privacy, or something like that. You haven't done any of those things with Pulse Chain. You basically just forked a bunch of other projects, put it together. So the reason for Pulse Chain existing is kind of artificial. It's just to make Hex work.
Let
me finish. So now you have to hire developers to work on those four code bases. But you can't get any of the people that actually built those code bases to work with you because they think that you're a scammer. So how are you going to make Pulse Chain? How are you going to make Pulse Chain the best chain out there if the people that built the system won't even interact with you? How are you going to track? If you can go to the US,
You're making shit up, man.
Okay, well,
This is lies, bro. You just lied.
Okay, well, you aren't in the US.
I don't
That's
want to
something-
be.
Yeah, you don't
I
want to
lived
be in
there
the US,
fucking
but that's
20 years.
that's
I
where
know
the
what's up.
majority of the developer community is. That's where you're going to find good
Hey,
developers.
Gistello, can I jump in here?
So tell us about your the top developers in
Yes.
Pulse Chain.
Okay.
Are there
First of
any
all-
ones that I know about? Because if I don't know about them, they're probably shit.
Hey, can
Probably
you,
should.
I got 14 devs. Can you guys name them? No. You know why? Because I don't want you wasting their fucking time. You offer no value to my developers. I don't want you talking to them.
Well, can you name one that I
No,
would know?
because I don't want you to offer them jobs and shit neither.
I don't want to offer you. I don't
So,
want
like-
to offer your developers
So let's
jobs.
compare my devs to everybody else. How many blockchain problems?
Like,
How
if
many
they're working
blockchains?
on Pulse Chain, that disqualifies them from even want to work with them. Why would they work on your project when there are so many legit projects to work on?
Because I pay better and my shit works better.
Yeah, but
So
these developers are not out there for pay.
I'm finding developers where they previously were not. You're just looking for blockchain devs, which in general suck. I'm hiring good devs and making them do the suck work of
Okay,
blockchain.
so,
Ethereum Gas has 5 fucking developers, 5 total.
so did
5.
any
And
of
they're
those,
not that good at their
did
job.
any of those developers that you hired have, were they the builders of the tools that you have worked?
No,
No,
no.
no, you can't hire those guys. You can't go
I
and
don't
hire
want, I
Peter
didn't even offer
Segal
them jobs. I
from,
don't
yeah.
want them.
You
I don't
can't
want those
hire
guys.
Ledger Watch from Aragon. You can't hire any of those
I
people because
don't
they don't want to
need
work
to
with you.
hire them. That's what open source is about, bro. Open source with good documents.
You need to
means
hire
just do
them in
it.
order to understand the intricacies of the code base in order to make your product safe. You're hiring a bunch of people to build on
Okay.
a bunch of code that other people built that they
Hold
don't
on.
even understand.
Can we rewind a little bit? Solana, smart devs, smart guys?
Eh,
Yeah. How much did they lose in their bridge hack? 600 million?
that was mostly Jump's fault.
Okay. Polygon, smart guys?
No,
No? Okay. How much could they have lost in their exploit that they caught before anyone else did?
tons,
4, 5 billion?
tons,
Okay. Axie Infinity, how much they lose in their bridge hack?
tons,
Right.
600 million.
So everyone's shit gets wrecked as fuck,
And that's
except
gonna
my
happen.
shit.
No, that's gonna happen to you
No,
too. Now
no,
that
it's
you're
not.
running a layer one,
No, it's not.
you just deployed a smart contract on Ethereum. That is nothing like running a layer one.
There's actually a lot of similarity.
No, not at all.
First
Not
of
at
all,
all,
the bridge
not at all.
problems when they fail don't have shit to do with layer one. It's a different failure.
All you needed to get one smart contract audited. Now we're talking about continuous release cycles.
Have you ever read the Geth code? It's trash. Like, it's easy to improve. It's really not good code.
Well, you couldn't write the
Okay,
Geth code.
man, okay, man, so we've been talking about auditing.
Anyway,
What's
my
the
shit's
contract?
worked perfect
Yep.
for years, and he said that this
Your
shit's
shit
not
hasn't
working.
even launched yet. We're talking about Pulse Chain. Doesn't
Yeah,
even
so
exist yet.
let's go back to the one smart contract that has been audited. And I know that, Eric, you have some very specific opinions with regard to the utility of that smart contract. So even after audit, even if you are saying that it is immutable and it lives in what it is, what do you think about the utility?
Hold on. He has shiny thing syndrome, okay? Because he's a smart guy, he doesn't respect horizontal scaling. He only respects doing shit differently. And when you do shit differently, you get new bugs. So he doesn't like bugs, but he only loves bugs. He doesn't like security
He
risks.
also thinks that Hex has no utility.
We're gonna. I am horizontally scaling using a secure code base with a we're just using the same one that we know works. And as far as, and by the way, if you care about DevOps, all of our shit has had 100% uptime for fucking years. How's everybody else
Are
doing?
you talking about Hex?
Yes, anything.
Okay,
Our
so
front
a
ends are
smart
fucking
contract,
everything.
a smart
No,
contract
but there's
ran
more
well.
than that. There's a front end, right? There's a website that has nothing to do with the blockchain.
Oh, so
Our
your website ran well.
Yeah.
Oh
that's
my
right.
God.
And nobody else
Oh my
is.
God, your website was up. Did
Yeah.
you use AWS?
Everybody else's shit is down. So why is everybody else's shit always down and my shit's always up? Because we're better, but you're just not giving us respect.
Or maybe more people visited those websites.
No, they're just poorly fucking designed. Everybody sucks in blockchain, bro.
Why the fuck are we talking about website uptime?
Because they all matter. You need a front end to stay up. You need the blockchain to stay up. You need like the
No,
middle layer
no,
to stay
anyone
up.
can run a website. Like I can run 10 different.
You got a website? What's your website?
I can run a website. I can phone a
Let me see how
website.
long your website stays up. What's your website?
You can use.
You're afraid to fucking say it right now. You hear that shit? You don't want to say his fucking website because he knows that shit will go down. If I tell the Hexagons to go check out your website, see if it stays up, it should go right down.
I don't have a website that tons of people are visiting, and the website
You
that
could
I have,
if you would say his name or whatever. This should go down.
Go back to Hex. Please go back to Hex.
This is the thing. We had 100% perfect flawless operation for years. We get treated like shit.
No,
Everyone
you-
else got
you
hacked for
didn't
hundreds
have-
of
you
millions.
didn't
Where shit run perfect, we get treated like shit.
You
It's
didn't
like
have- you
we're
didn't
in a
have-
different fucking planet. How do we disagree on facts?
Richard, you didn't have 100% uptime.
How do we go that way?
You had a smart contract on a platform that had 100% uptime. Now you're creating your own platform. The uptime of that, I can bet you, is going to be disastrous compared to Ethereum.
Hey, you know we have a Tesla, right? It runs pretty good.
Yeah, you got a testnet.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And they beat it up.
Testnet is up.
It's well loaded.
Okay.
I don't know what to tell you, but
Richard, if you disagree with him on this one,
he just imagines
You're
shit. and
really
pretends
gonna wanna
it's
hear
true.
this next
All right, go ahead.
I'll make a bet. I'll make a
I'm
bet
not
with you.
betting
I'll make
you.
a
I
bet
don't
with
need
you
your
right
money.
now. I'll make a bet with you right now.
Oh, Jesus.
Eric,
I bet that Pulse Chain is going to have disastrously worse uptime than Ethereum has in the next year after it launches.
I'm
Make a
not
bet on
saying
that? Do you want to make a bet on that?
No, it's too hard to measure.
Oh.
So when Infura goes down, do we credit that as a fucking
No,
L1?
no, not in Infura. We're talking about layer one bugs.
Like what?
Layer
What was the
one
last layer 1 bug that we saw?
in Ethereum.
Yeah,
There's been a couple of ones.
I can't remember any.
I can remember a few. I don't know recall the names of them.
If I
but there
can't
have
remember
been.
the old bugs,
Geth had bugs,
there was a consensus break between Geth and Parity. The
Yeah.
Parity sucks.
but like 2 years ago they had an issue.
See, this is what I mean? It's too shitty to like guess it. Like,
I'm
I
just
don't
saying
want
that your situation with Pulse Chain is going to be way worse. Because
My
you don't
devs
have
are
to
better
layer-
than the Geth devs. When you fucking see it, you'll like it.
Oh my
Geth
god!
devs are
Oh my
good.
god! Not even with the amount of money that you earned from your
Hex sucks the
sacrifice.
utility. Jump in.
Not even with all the money that you earned from Hex,
Listen.
from the sacrifice.
Listen.
to
you're
Pulse
you're
Chain.
paraphrasing, but he's close to that. Moving on to Hex, and your thoughts on the utility of Hex, because today, we did an interview with you,
Yeah.
and you said you don't think it has any utility. I need you to say that in front of this man and let him respond.
We had this conversation before. So Richard thinks that he's created what's it called, a CD,
No,
certificate of
kind
deposit.
of. It mostly represents Bitcoin proof of work change.
We used to call it this certificate of deposit,
Yeah.
right? CD.
Yeah.
So usually when you look at a CD, you gain a yield
Yeah.
on a stable coin, on a dollar, for example.
Okay.
In Hex, you can also earn a yield. The only difference is that the yield you earn is on this highly volatile coin called Hex.
Yep.
So while you may earn double-digit APY on Hex, you don't know if that's going to mean that you're going to have more money at the end of the year or less money at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So the products are nowhere near
No,
being similar.
Yeah, agree.
They're nowhere near similar.
Yep.
So it's not a CD on the blockchain. It's
Well, it
something
is.
that
It's just
just
nothing like the
self-inflates
CD in the
itself.
real world.
And the reason that you can't ensure the value is because where does the yields come from in Hex? Well, it comes from inflation. So it comes
Yep.
from expansion of supply.
Yep. Where does yield come from on the bank CD?
It doesn't come, the yields that I earn, if I were to have a bank that gave me interest rates, it's not because the bank is just putting more numbers on my bank account.
Actually, it is.
In a way, like it's the loans that they're making that they can pay out to you from that.
So when you put your money in the bank, you think they lend it out and then they pay your interest?
No, I'm not gonna fall into this fucking asshole mousetrap that you always do where, oh, if you deposit money with the bank, it doesn't end up on the asset side, it ends up on the liability side. Actually, it does both, because you can try to do this one thing. So you can go to a bank, you can take out all your money. Do you think that bank is gonna be rich now because you just remove everything on their liability side when you withdraw?
Okay. Banks make money lending money out.
They do.
They could either lend out more money or less money.
Sure.
If they lend out more money,
Yeah.
they make more. What allows them to lend out more money is to not lend your money out, and to leave it as a security sitting there. And then that government comes along and gives them inflation, that they lend the inflation out 10 times more. So they lend out 10 times the stuff by lending out the inflation the government gave them. So when you deposit your money at the bank, your yield that you get actually comes from the government giving them inflated out of thin air fucking money that then gets lent out, that then your yield gets paid.
No, that's not how it works. The way that it works is then when you deposit money more with the bank, it increases their CAGR, the capital adequacy ratio, CAR, the capital adequacy ratio of the bank, which allows them to get more leverage.
Stop drumming, bro.
It allows them to get more leverage,
Yeah.
and it allows them to make more money because
Yeah.
they now have more
Right,
leverage.
and what they're lending out is inflation. It's money printed out of thin air that the government gave them for free. And you know what your yield is in the stock market, by the way? Its ours went up 40% this year, inflation. Why this Rolex isn't 600K from the factory, I paid 1.4 million for it? Because there's
That's
so
not the
much
same
money
thing,
that
that's
has to
not
go
the same thing
somewhere.
as either, we're talking about asset appreciation.
I just told you that the most similar thing.
Talking
that
about asset appreciation, I'm talking about the APYs that you pay out.
In
So
Bitcoin,
two different
let's try this.
concepts.
Do Bitcoin miners earn yield? They buy hardware, they generate coins, the coins have a value, that's yield, right?
Sure.
And the yield is fixed because it's the same block reward every 10 minutes, right?
Sure.
And it's spread over a pool. The more people that compete for it, the less per each guy.
Sure.
Our shit is the same shit.
It's not the
except
same shit.
It is. We pay inflation to people that
For
do
no
a
reason
thing.
at all. For no reason at all.
No. Bitcoin miners are paid to protect the network. Hex
Yeah.
stakers are paid to protect the price. Hex stakers lock up supply, reducing velocity.
And who does
making
that
coins more
benefit?
rare.
Who does that
The people
benefit?
that aren't locked up.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
only benefits people that are inside
It's
the hex
virtual
system.
lending. It's
Yeah,
virtual
But
lending.
you're only moving value from some hex
Yeah.
holders to
Yes.
some other hex holders.
Correct. Yes.
So you're only circulating money between
Yeah.
hexagons.
And what happens to loans?
When Bitcoin does that, they at least secure the blockchain.
No, it's just a huge negative externality. They just destroy the environment and dump the price.
But it does secure the blockchain so that you cannot reorg it.
Yeah.
Does Hex help?
Yeah.
Does Hex help make sure that you cannot? I suppose it does with the transaction fees.
Yeah.
But now you're not gonna pay those anymore. So
We're just gonna pay them to two places depending on which chain you want to play on.
So,
You're still gonna pay them to you.
Eric, there's a rumor right now that Richard had Hex audited and that he's invited a new audit. He's
What?
looking for someone to audit there's a community claiming that they want a new audit. They
To
want-
Hex?
No, Big PP.
Oh, someone wants to measure my dick? Any hot chick?
What are your thoughts around Richard's using this again and again and again in the crypto space? And are you willing
I
to
don't mind
audit?
getting measures.
look, Richard brags
I had
about.
brought a ruler.
Richard brags
Like a round
about.
one, like a rope one.
You brag about a bunch of things. You brag about that you called Bitcoin top.
Yep.
And you brag about your dick size.
Yep.
I would be willing to bet that if we took it to an independent
Yep.
arbitrator
Yep.
and we submit my top calls and my bottom calls and we compare that to yours, he's actually going to say that my top calls are better than yours.
Doug, don't you have an investment fund?
Yes, I do.
What's your return like this year?
I can't say that because of regulation.
Ah, it's negative 90 some shit percent, Doug.
No.
His shit's down negative 90 fucking percent. He's talking about beating my top
Are you
calls, Doug.
serious? So the CEO of my company has written on Twitter that my fund has outperformed Bitcoin and has outperformed other hedge funds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just, it's the
So what are
same
you talk-
shit,
what are you
when
talking about
When
now?
your shit starts dumping versus the dollar, you start comparing the BTC chart. You're like, hey, we're dumping like fuck versus the dollar, but we're beating BTC.
No, we're up several hundred percent.
So why am I looking at charts of your shit say negative 90%?
Because you're looking at a stock. You're looking at a stock and you think that's my fund.
Well, how the fuck would I don't buy funds, bro. You gotta, this is your job, Doug.
No, you're looking
If your
at,
shit's good, tell me why.
no, look, you're looking at a public equity that launched at an IPO where the
So the
price.
stock
price
of
is
your
set-
shit's down 90%?
It's not even my shit. I run a subsidiary to that company.
Alright,
So
man.
you're looking at a stock that launched at IPO,
Yeah.
and the valuation was several hundred times the sales of
Hey,
that company.
you just told me when you sold your Bitcoin and at what price. My top call was 65K. I don't wanna dox your shit. Your shit was not 65K, right?
Are you asking me when I sold my Bitcoin?
No, I'm just saying, my top call was 65K. Was yours, how do you beat that? I called it on the day. We had one day where it blipped.
Yes.
to
Okay, so
65.
I can say how I beat that in particular. I
Yeah.
called it in when Bitcoin was trading at $9,000. I said that on March 18th, on 2021, it's going to reach $56,000.
Okay.
So that was many months into the future.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like 5-6 months in the future. I nailed that price on the day.
Cool. So this
Before
is
it
like
happened.
when I called the Bitcoin Christmas at 5K to 20K within like a week.
Look, I'll bet you this. If we take an independent jury, you submit all your top calls, I submit all my top calls, and the person.
No, I
wins-
call the top of the day. You can't-
No, look. We can make an agreement here. If the independent verifier thinks that your calls were better, then I have to retweet that Richard Hart's calls were better than mine.
These
But if
bets
my
suck.
calls were better than yours,
These
then
bets are too hard to judge, man. I
So
want,
let's just get a judge that we both trust.
no, but the only utility
So you're,
to stupid
you're
bets
pussing
is
out,
that
you're pussing out, you don't want to do it?
Doug, I called the top of the day. You're
Okay,
not gonna beat
okay,
it.
so if you don't
I
want to
did
do
it
it,
two
if you don't,
cycles.
you don't want to.
I called 60K in Malta.
Okay.
In Malta, when we were there together, I called 60K on
Okay,
the
so if,
stage.
if you don't want to do the bet, then how
I
about?
don't
we-
want to do weird fucking bets that are hard to measure. Man.
Okay, so if you want something easy to measure, then why don't we measure our dick size?
We can do that.
All right?
I have a fucking measuring tape here
Okay, all right.
in the car. I
Okay,
have it.
I'm down for that. But the person who loses has to post a picture of their dick and put it
No,
on the
that's just I'm not getting me too. I'm getting me too, dude.
You're pussing out of everything here.
No, I'm measuring and publishing your dick size.
You don't understand the difference between a stock and a fund. You think that my fund is underperforming when the fund has outperformed Bitcoin and.
Okay, who is that? Does anyone think I called the Bitcoin talk?
No.
I remember at Warsaw also.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was there in person. Like, bro, I don't know why you're so competitive about this. I called the top of the day, drew a chart. I said Coinbase launch is just like a CME launch.
I just think
It only
that your
drops
I
from
just
here.
think that your top call sucks, and I don't think even think that your dick is that big.
All right.
And I think that you're just using this outrage marketing to market a product that isn't even good, that just put
What a
put
boring
together with a
outrage.
bunch of fucking forked code that you don't even have the team to maintain. You don't even have the industry connections to get good developers to work.
Do you know what this sounds like? This sounds exactly like the exact same shit I heard before Hex launched that went up in price 10,000 fold. The exact same shit. Doesn't have a
Look,
purpose.
okay, so you want to
The
talk
stock
about
will
you
fail.
want to talk about that conversation that we
What?
had? You want to talk about that conversation that we had?
I just want to talk about making people rich, bro. That's all anyone gives a fuck about. They want to get rich. They don't care about my dick. They don't care about
Yeah,
your
but
dick. They
maybe-
don't care about which one of us is smarter. They care about getting fucking rich. People are getting wrecked right now. That's the only thing that people need. Is everyone's getting destroyed.
Okay, so let's take Luna as an example.
Sure.
Did people get extremely rich investing in Luna up until a month ago?
Yeah, sure.
They did. Was that a great thing?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
No.
So how can you say that X has gone up in value? It's a great thing. It's all about how it ends. Because if it goes back down to zero, the only thing that happened was a zero-sum game. Every win was somebody else's loss.
But
That's
it's
the thing that you're running into. If you're moving to a platform that you don't even know how to maintain, your ship goes to zero. All those gains that people made are going to be paid out from people that had losses.
So every single speculative instrument is a game where you need new money to come in or the prices don't go up. So this talking shit about, oh, it's just a net fucking trading amongst each other thing, that's life. That's the whole fucking planet. That's the stock market, that's businesses, that's relationships. You need more energy to come in. The sun has to keep shining, plants need to keep growing. That's life. It's not, you do not argue.
And I just don't see you building that kind of sustainable product. You
because
can't
you're blind.
even use Hex as a medium of exchange.
I don't want it to be medium of
I
exchange.
know, that's why your product is deficient.
No, you just don't understand how markets work. Bitcoin went from $1 to $69,000 because you couldn't fucking sell it anywhere easily. No one wants to accept that shit. So it was easy to buy, hard to sell. It gives you positive price pressure. If you compare stores of value to exchanges of value, PayPal plus Visa plus MasterCard are 1/10 of the value of gold. And nobody uses gold for jack shit. Like 2/3 of its value is just speculative value. Because stores of value, by definition, are worth more than that which transmits them. The problem with payment networks, so you fall for the payment. You have two
But you
problems.
don't even have a good store value thesis for Hex because your coin is endlessly inflating to the end of time.
No, you just don't understand how it works.
I do understand how it works, and you say that the maximum inflation per year is 3.69% per year. That isn't even true because that 3.69% is with your supply included, which is like 80%. So if you take out your own supply and just think about how much the guys who aren't you are getting inflated, because you're not receiving the staking rewards, right? That's how you can say that they're getting 38% APY, because those are the coins that are actually going to the community of hexagons. So the community outside of OA, they're getting diluted the fuck out of, diluted the fuck out of.
Okay, let's say you have a $20 in your wallet, and
No.
you split it into 2
No.
cents. Did you make money or lose money? You just change the units, right? So let's say you own 100% of the hex, and now you pay yourself interest. Did you make money or
Nothing
lose money?
happens.
That's right, nothing happens.
Yeah.
And so when you don't have negative externalities, you're just changing the fucking units. Because we don't have to pay mining rewards, because we don't have to pay miner fees, we just are basically free riding on Ethereum because the average stake length is 6.8 years. We're just changing the units. People are paying themselves money. It's not, there's no like, you're not losing. You're the one getting the money.
If you're a
Furthermore-
staker, if you're an average
Right.
length staker,
Yes.
if you're a below
Correct.
average length staker,
You're getting
then
diluted.
you are getting diluted.
Right, yeah.
Bitcoin doesn't have that problem. Ethereum doesn't even have that problem.
When was Bitcoin's highest ROI? When its inflation was the highest. But you'll sit here and tell me inflation is bad, because you don't know shit about markets.
People don't value Bitcoin based on how.
No, hold on, dog. You just
based
said
on the-
inflation was bad, and I just told you that the Bitcoin's best rewards were when its inflation was the highest, multiple times higher. Annualized thousands of percent APY. But like you just.
But that's 1 year, that's 1 year. Bitcoin
No,
has a small
it was high
inflation each
forever.
year.
It went from no coins to 19 million coins over 13 fucking years. And its ROI was always higher when its inflation was higher. But you sit here.
Yeah,
have
and do
it
you think, and do you
backwards.
know why people buy into Bitcoin? It's because of the fixed supply.
No.
Yes, it
Because
is.
they wanna get rich.
Yes, it is.
They don't even know what the supply is when they buy,
Are
bro.
you fucking kidding
They
me?
just buy.
Is there a Bitcoiner here in the audience? Is there someone that likes Bitcoin here in the audience? Do you think that one of the main value proposition of Bitcoin is the fixed supply? There you go. There you
So
go.
what's
You wanna
the
go-
supply
you
of
wanna go-
Bitcoin right now? Yeah. Right. See, Hexagons are smart. I'm telling you, I met a guy that bought the
He's a
top yesterday.
Bitcoiner, that's why he's smart.
No, I met a guy that bought 69K yesterday. I was at the watch store looking at expensive watches. He bought a top, literally paid 69K. I asked him why. He's like, my friends told me to do it and all this shit. He doesn't know about the supply. He doesn't know none of that shit, man. And if he did, he would think like you, backwards. The Bitcoin returns were higher when the inflation was higher. But all you guys have it backwards and think inflation is bad. You think all inflation is the same. Inflation in Hex is nothing like inflation in Bitcoin. Inflation in Bitcoin gets sold to dump the price to pay to pollute the fucking environment.
Yeah,
Inflation in Hex
okay.
doesn't get sold to dump the price to pollute the fucking
So
environment.
Hex only has one use case. It's a store of value, but it's a store of value that dilutes the fuck out of everyone that isn't staking.
Okay, where do the majority of rewards in Hex come from? APY or USD gains? Price went up versus the dollar 1,000,000%.
Up until now, it's been price appreciation.
Yep.
So what happens when it starts to go down, like it's been doing now from 56 cents until, what are you now, like 7 cents?
7.8 less so.
Yeah. So now people they're not getting that appreciation.
Hey man, you know what? If you think Hex sucked after it did 1,000,000% and paid interest the whole way and 100%.
No, I think it's like Luna. Like,
And handed out.
oh, so
It's
we
not
could say,
like
we could
Luna.
say the same thing about Luna. Hey, do you think that Luna sucks when it's gonna up?
So Bitcoin goes to zero.
Luna
to
actually outperformed Hex in the same time span that they were,
Yeah,
you
so
can
did
measure their
Chip.
price.
Yeah, so did Chip. And how
So,
are they doing now?
So just having a tremendous price performance is not a reason for me to say it's a good coin. That's what you're trying to make me say.
but we can't-
Hex increased this much, therefore it's a good coin. Okay, so Luna appreciated more, it's a better coin, right?
But the only thing that you would accept because you have a bad investment thesis is a medium of exchange argument. And then you would just talk shit about anything else.
Oh, I
I'd
don't
say,
know. Medium
I'd say
of exchange is
100%
not my
uptime,
only
you'd say
argument.
just a contract. I would say 1,000,000% performance, you'd say Luna and Chip did better and ignore the 2,000 other coins we murdered. And still murdering those coins now, by the way, since they died. Like you're just immune to like logic. Like there's nothing.
No, I'm
I
talking
can
about
say
a coin that
would
reached
make-
a higher market cap than you did.
Yeah.
And
Actually,
they
it's
had,
not a
had
higher
better, they had better, well, if you exclude the 08,
Sure,
which shouldn't
sure.
count.
Sure.
So they had better price performance, they
Yeah.
reached a high market cap, their public figure didn't become ostracized by the rest of the fucking community like you
Well, he's
did.
probably
So
ostracized
he was
now.
probably a better
He just took
marketer,
longer to get
marketer
around
than
to
you
it.
were. He was
If
probably
you
a better
say so.
marketer than you were because he
Yeah.
could actually get in touch with
Yeah.
high profile people in the cryptocurrency industry.
That's great. So I'm going to show you
And does
another.
that make Luna a good coin?
Hold on.
It should. On paper, it's a fucking great coin. But then it collapsed
So-
because it wasn't sustainable.
Eric is showing you again one of his flaws that he doesn't know that he has. He has shiny thing syndrome. He doesn't respect horizontal scaling. He doesn't think a basic copy of something has value.
Can you explain what you mean by horizontal scaling? for the
Yes.
audience?
You go to McDonald's, it's full all the time. McDonald's company goes, oh shit, let's build another one right there. No improvements at all, same exact shit. Everyone's happy. They get what they want. You would be angry. You'd be like, where's the fucking improvements? It's the same burgers. Where's the better burgers? No, bro, it's good enough. Just do it again.
You were the one. You were the one that was talking about composability. So when you're doing horizontal scaling
Dave,
that way, you
Bridges make
lose
shit
composability.
composable. Bridges have worked fine for that.
Okay, so then there isn't a problem with composability in rollups because they also have bridges then. Boom.
I would rather tell you, no one's using that composability. Like in theory, it may exist. They are using bridges a lot. No one's using L2s, no, they're not. So
There's $2.4 billion in Arbitrum.
that's nothing. It's jack shit.
in TV,
It's nothing. It's not much.
How much do you have in pulse chain?
In sacrifices, fuckloads of billions, and stable sitting there.
Do you mean the money
660
that you
million.
gave to yourself?
Back to shit that he's not good at. So he has shiny thing syndrome. He doesn't respect horizontal scaling.
And I don't respect when you say that you have billions of dollars sacrificed to pulse chain when it was money that you donated to yourself. A
There's
donation to yourself is not a
660 million
donation.
stable sitting there.
It's just taking money from this pocket and putting it into that pocket and saying, oh, I
Yeah,
got 30
the
billion
stuff that-
donated tax. It was your money that you just
Listen.
took from one pocket to the other.
There's
It's a fucking
600.
bullshit argument.
Go do the chain analysis on the fucking sacrifices. I don't think there's any tornado action in there. I don't think there's any weird shit in there. You can just look them up. Everything during the volume rank
Also,
phase.
all that hex
is
came from
obvious
someone
fault.
else.
This shit after the volume phase looked very central.
Okay, all right.
From a timing analysis.
Okay.
The shit during the volume phase where everyone was ranking, it added up to 660 million
And
stakes.
I'm just glad it's being recorded, so we can check the receipts on this.
Oh shit, everybody, he's got me. The fucking CIA junior G-man here, he's got my ass. He's
Okay.
gonna lock the fucking handcuff me after.
Talking about that idea of this being recorded.
What's
If
up?
we were to use this as a timestamp, would each of you project out what you feel is going to happen in the entirety of the crypto space?
Oh, hold on.
Yes.
He's doing so much shit that I can't address all the shit he said.
And that's
You
what
just
you
talked
usually
about
do. That's
how
what
dope-
you usually do. It's your trick. I'm just copying the way that you copy things.
It's my turn. You said Do Kwon was a better marketer than me. You said Do Kwon wasn't ostracized like I'm ostracized, right? So in his brain, he's telling you, my shit sucks, all that. But let's actually logically analyze this as a speculator. If something went up 1,000,000% in price with very few users, total gatekeeping and total ostracization, and the founder sucking balls and nobody liking them and his marketing sucking and everyone else doing fucking better than him, what do you think the price would do if any of those things went away? What if the gates opened? And so for him, his brain doesn't work right. It's backwards. He looks
Why
at
would those gates
opportunity.
open?
He looks at
Why
opportunity in
would
the
those
face and
gates
doesn't see
open?
it as opportunity.
Why would those gates open for
I
you?
don't know, bro. Why do I got blue check marks now? Why am I getting interviews with more popular
You
people?
can buy
constantly?
blue check marks from Indian on for like $400.
Do you have a blue check mark? You gotta
No,
spend
I don't
like
go and
$400.
pay Indians for that kind of crap. I'm
Okay.
legit. I'm
All right.
authentic. But
Okay,
I do
man.
have an Indian assistant that's kept pestering me. Eric, we should get you on a media panel and they'll get you the check mark. That's not
All right,
something
dude.
to
You
brag
should get
about.
one. Because it's a secret, but we actually.
Okay, I'll fucking get the check mark
All right.
2 months from now if you want me to.
My point is that you're
You
looking
want,
at
you want, you want,
opportunity
you want
in
to
the
see me
face.
get a check mark in order to prove my point? I can
I
do it
don't
in
care.
2 months. And if I do, you have to post a picture,
I don't-
picture of your dick on
Why do you want to see my dick so bad, bro? Damn. Don't they have girls around here? Fuck.
You were the one that's bringing it up all the
But
time. with
don't
your
you
fucking
understand that we
outrage
literally
marketing.
have shit backwards? Like, all this gatekeeping is more potential, not less. All of this shit you're saying that sucks is more potential, not less.
Hey, let's change the subject a little bit. So you usually describe yourself as the best person in crypto.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
you explain to the audience why that is?
Well, I'm the only guy that wrote self-help books to try and get you to be
In crypto.
Yeah. I'm the only person in crypto that wrote self-help books.
Okay, but you're not the only person in the world that wrote self-help books.
Oh, no, in the world, a lot of people beat
Yeah,
my ass.
so who the fuck cares? There's a tons of self-help care books out there people can buy. Does it make you?
So you know there's leagues and shit, like there's a boys league and a girls league.
Okay,
and
fair
a
enough.
fat
Like,
people
okay,
league
I'll
and shit.
admit,
Like,
writing
I'm in
self-help,
this league, I'm the winner. Like,
writing self-help is a good thing.
yeah.
So good kudos to you.
Yeah, and I raised 27 million for charity. And I gave,
Let's
yeah.
compliment. You said you what?
raised 27 million for charity.
You raised $27 million
Yes.
for charity.
Yeah.
Where are those money now?
They're in the actual bank account of the Sense Foundation.
And weren't they supposed to go to Aubrey de Grey?
No,
Wasn't he the one that was making all the presentations that got Mexicans excited about donating to the Sense Foundation? He was the one at the Sense Foundation with the belief of how to put that money to good use for longevity research. And aren't you, by the way, good friends with Aubrey from way back at the
I like Aubrey, yeah.
What's it called?
Methuselah Foundation.
Methuselah
Yeah,
Foundation.
Methuselah.
30 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
How come you never told anyone about that you knew him before you decided to donate raise $27 million to him?
I think I
You
told
didn't?
everybody about that shit.
You told him that you were pals?
But I wrote a whole book called Sci-Vive to guide
So you said, well, I'm gonna raise a bunch of money to a pal of mine.
How old
A
am
pal of mine.
No, look, man, when you start a not-for-profit charity, there's a shitload of rules and laws and regulations around it, which is why he just didn't run it himself. So he has all these other people that are in charge of shit. So they have a medical board of
So
smart people.
he's your
like
pal,
George
he's your
Church.
pal, Aubrey is your pal.
I've spoken to him maybe 5 times in 13 years.
Okay, but you thought that he
No,
was the
so-
right guy to give this money to?
That's not how foundations work. A foundation has a science board, a board of directors, a legal team. He doesn't get to decide where shit goes. He never got to decide where shit goes.
Yeah,
The
quick
science
time,
board does.
quick time out, sir.
I think he's just hating on Aubrey. Just talk about him getting charged for that sexual shit. It'd be way easier if you want to hate Aubrey.
Oh, actually, we don't want to talk about Aubrey at all.
Oh, all right. Oh,
What sexual?
Hold on.
he got charged for
Hold
some
on.
Me Too shit.
Back to your corners, Jim. We need
Did he
one
do some
thing-
sexual?
Hey,
I'm the dick guy. What are you up? You trying to take my dick jokes, man?
we need one thing from each of you, okay? We're making a film on Richard and Hicks, a feature-length documentary. We need to hear from each of you what you think crypto and blockchain means for the future. Where is this going
Okay.
beyond Hex and Pulse chain
Sure.
and everything else? Would you like to start, sir, or would you like Eric to start? We would like,
I'll go first. So, I believe every single day human beings are being robbed of what they spend their entire lifetimes working for. You know, my dad worked 2 jobs forever. He's probably working the equivalent of 2 jobs now. He's just a workaholic. And every single dollar that he worked for to save became maybe worthless. The government printed and printed and printed and printed until it canceled out all the hard labor that my dad did. And his, you know, like everyone that came before him, everyone that's worked hard to save dollars has got annihilated, and other countries have it worse. So if you think you've got it bad holding the dollar's up massive versus other currencies this year. You know, it's up probably 20-30% versus the euro this year. And that's the second biggest currency out. So how are we going to solve the government stealing your money from you without telling you they're doing it? And what do they do with that money? They go to war with it. They cause a lot of harm with it. They're not doing good things with your money. It's mostly a bunch of guys sitting around looking at each other, and it's just terrible. And the government's not going to fix it. Fiat currencies only go one direction, that's down. And so us, the people, the builders, the innovators, we have to build the solutions. And Bitcoin was our first attempt at it to try and make a peer-to-peer digital cash. It ended up as gold, which is okay, I guess. But the price performance sucks now. The time that you wait sucks. The fees suck. Community sucks now too. So, you know, if you think you're going to change the world making venture capitalists rich, those are the guys that own most of Bitcoin now. But in Hex, you know, people that own it, they're not venture capitalists for the
You
most
just
part.
said that Hex wasn't supposed to be used as a form of money.
No, it's not.
So how can it compete with fiat money when it's not even money?
Well, you just abstract it. You just keep going levels down, right? Just like most of the money is created by
Could you
credit.
say something like in human terms?
What I know is that the best performing asset class that's ever existed is cryptocurrency.
We're talking about money.
No, you're talking about money.
No,
I'm talking
you
about
were
making
talking
people
about
rich.
money. You were saying that
Giving
money
people
sucked
better
for your
money doesn't
father.
make them rich.
You said that money sucked for your father,
Yeah.
didn't work for him. There needs to be a better alternative. But
Yeah.
you also said that Hex is not money, it's a store of value.
Yeah. But people aren't having problems spending their money or transacting their money. They're having problems keeping the money valuable. And so stores of value, like stocks, have done a very good job in comparison, or even my Rolexes. My Rolexes have beat the fuck out of everything. My Rolexes probably beat most people's portfolios in here. So there are things that are able to hold value in a world where everyone's infinitely printing new money.
So
I
the,
did
so
time
the problem
deposit,
is
Bitcoin
stores
tried
of
to
value
do that.
then. The
Yeah.
problem is not money, it's store of value.
Yes.
in your opinion.
That's right. I
Okay.
agree.
And your store of value is something that inflates a lot.
It doesn't inflate a lot at all. It has a lower inflation rate than Bitcoin had when it hit 20K after being around 10 years. And the inflation is delayed massively because it's only paid at the end of the stake, and stakes are on average near 7 years now. That dilation is pushed far into the future, and that's also compounding. So when you delay the inflation early, it delays inflation forever, because it coming out later causes it to come out less and less in the future still. I bet if you were to actually look up the inflation rate of Hex, it might be 1 or 2%, truthfully. And since there's no negative externalities, you don't need to sell it. There's no similarity between our inflation and others. And even if there were, you need to realize that highest inflation equals highest price gains in most proof of work networks. So this idea that low inflation, but the reality is that the ratio of buying to selling is what matters. And if people, when they get their inflation, sell it, that is bad. If they just restake it, it doesn't matter. Or if it just comes out so far in the future and the ball is bigger then, it also doesn't matter. So like, that's the thing people miss. The reason that Bitcoin had higher inflation and higher gains back then is because it was so much easier to multiply a small community into a larger community, that the rate at which the community grew outpaced the rate at which the inflation grew. Which is why Hex went up 1,000,000% under the terms that you think suck. Like you think Hex sucks, you think the inflation's high, then why the fuck did the price go up 1,000,000%? This is what's so crazy to me. People speak with such certainty about shit that is obviously proven wrong, and they don't address their core ideas. Like you should have known that there was something wrong with your investment thesis when it murdered and you didn't think it would murder. You were wrong, I was right, but you didn't learn anything.
No, that's not what happened. When we had a discussion, I said the price of Hex will pump, but how are you going to sustain demand 5 years into the future? Now we're at the,
Dogecoin. It sucks. Price pumped. Beat the fuck out of Bitcoin.
I said that it's a pointless fucking thing because you just admitted that the only thing that it does is reallocate value from stakers to non-stakers.
No, but that's
It's
perfect.
the circular game. The question is that
Everything's a circular game.
No,
What are you
no.
talking about, bro? Unless you're a farmer.
It depends on
Everything's
whether or
circular
not.
game.
No, it's not a circular game unless it goes back to zero. Then it's a circular game. All the games become someone else's loss. That's how you create.
You understand every speculative instrument has this property, that one guy wins, one guy loses. You get that?
It doesn't happen. No, it doesn't happen unless it goes down to zero. Like in Bitcoin, for example, the
What?
people invested in Bitcoin, every person that earned money investing in Bitcoin, their gain hasn't been someone else's loss yet because the price hasn't gone down to zero yet.
So
It's when it goes down to
it's not,
zero
it's
that
not gonna go,
everything.
Bitcoin's not going to zero. It's not.
Bitcoin's not going to zero.
No,
No,
it's
but Hex might be.
No,
That's the problem.
it's
That's
not.
what. That's the
Hey guys, I very extremely do not think it's going to zero. So
You're the founder of the thing, so that doesn't surprise me.
I'm going to tell you a quick story, right? I'm going to give you a quick hypothetical. Ready? Let's pretend you launched a coin and you raised money, right? And then you put that money into Ethereum, and then Ethereum went up 40x. Then you dumped that shit, right? And you had like a fucking stack of cash, right? I bet like if you reinvested in your original coin, you could have actually net put more into that coin than you took out. Do you know what I'm saying?
No.
No? You don't get it? Okay. Well, I can't say any more clear. If you dog shit in crypto has been around for a very long time and done very well, and then your brain wouldn't let you think that that can happen.
No, I see that happening all the time.
By the way, you know who else is up? You know who I met in the thrift store today? AMC investors that did like a 40x or something on AMC.
Sure.
So the solution to these types of games is that there's net alive, there's default alive and default games. Default alive and default dead. I believe that these Ponzi scheme, meme coin, bad business ideas, scammy bullshit, you are playing a pump and dump game, musical chairs, whoever gets in early gets out early wins, the people that get in late get fucked, they don't lose their money, they gave it to the early guys. Those are default dead games. I don't like those games. I believe that innovative products that have walled gardens, that have product market fit, have lasting value. So for instance, there is no other coin in the entire history of the universe that shows more dedication to holding than Hex. With a 6.8 year average hold, retail. No scammy bullshit, no Tornado Cash bullshit. Retail as fuck, 6.8 year average hold. It's never existed before in the history of mankind. That is the strongest possible measurement of people's true real world fucking forced, can't escape it, dedication. And then on top of that shit, we have tattoos. We have kids being named that shit. Like we have like everything around the community. It shows you can't, like what could you do to get better measurements, right? Like the price chart right now, I'm not a fan because it dips so hard. It makes me angry.
Okay, we need to hear Eric's thoughts on the
Well, he just
crypto
think-
space as a whole.
He thinks the thing that went up 1,000,000% with 100% uptime sucks shit. And it's like, I can't talk him out of it. He's just like, yeah,
No,
if
I
it
mean,
went up
that's
2
what-
million, it would suck.
that's what happened to
If it went up
Luna.
infinite percent, it would
It's
suck.
what happened to Luna.
Okay.
Yeah,
but that
okay,
wasn't a
let's-
good thing.
Let's
Yeah.
put that aside
Yeah.
for a moment. We need to hear your vision of this thing, and then we are bumping our time in this space. So we're gonna allow you to share your vision. Richard gets one last word, and then we're gonna do some photographs.
Before jail. This is my last chance before jail,
Sure.
so. Or they will measure my dick there, so.
Sure. So I think that Bitcoin is going to perform well as a digital gold. If you think about
It's a shitcoin that's just around
Can you just let
longer.
me talk?
It's a shitcoin that's around longer.
Let me finish. Okay.
You cut me off the whole time. I've been quiet as fuck.
Yeah, at least I'll let you speak for like 2 minutes or something before I cut you off. Okay, so if you've seen the recent events in Russia and Ukraine, did you see, by the way, how the European Central Bank froze the assets of the Russian bank? I think that what's going to happen, like now we're talking about governments. So governments are now distrusting each other, that the money that they hold with each other's bank accounts are safe, that it's theirs. So the concept of international banking is falling apart because governments and nations cannot trust each other. So Bitcoin is a solution to that problem. And if we look at the individual level, then we have the aspect where you can own an asset that if you try to use it as a form of money, you don't get punished by being diluted because there's a bunch of stakers, which you have in Hex. You actually just have an asset that has a finite max supply that you can use, works as a medium of exchange, can transform into a digital form of gold. That's going to provide an alternative for people to have a new form of money that isn't at the behest of government's monetary policies. It's one of the greatest inventions in monetary history, I believe, and it has an excellent chance to compete on the world stage as a new form of money. So that's Bitcoin. On the Ethereum side, we have an emergent ecosystem, a platform that allows you to build decentralized financial applications that compose with each other. So it's building like a decentralized platform, a decentralized fintech platform where anyone can come in and build their own permissionless applications that interact with each other. It's basically rebuilding the finance of the internet. Those are the two projects that I'm most bullish about. Apart from that, I see a lot of Ponzi's, I see a lot of quasi-Ponzi's, I see a bunch of self-diluting tokens, I see a bunch of people that are circulating the same amount of tokens between themselves in these zero-sum games, except Hex isn't even a zero-sum game because there's one address called the 08, which Richard controls, which gets 50% of the penalties every time that somebody ends their stake early. 50% of that goes to Richard. So it's like playing a roulette table where there's a green slot, and that green slot is Richard's, and that goes to him. And the new currency that he's launched, Pulse Chain, he took 90% of the supply of that, even though he didn't have to. There's no reason for him to do that. And he doesn't have the developers to attract, he doesn't have the ability to attract developers to maintain that ecosystem because everyone in the industry thinks that he's a fishy, shady actor and they don't want to work with him. Doesn't matter how much he pays, they're not going to be inclined to contribute to his project.
Is it 2 minutes up yet?
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
It is.
Hey guys, you know how much fucking money was sacrificed in the sacrifice phase? Where the fuck do you think all that money came from? All the hating bitches decided not to miss round 2 of Richard Hart's new invention. I'm telling you that every motherfucker that hated Hex is all up in Pulse Chain and PLSX like a motherfucker.
I want some Pulse.
Ivan on
I
Tech.
want some PLS.
Ivan on Tech. There you go. Yeah. Didn't you just offer to buy some?
Yep.
Yeah. He's buying.
Because I mean, the number one investment thesis in crypto is never bet against stupid.
He learned.
So I'm betting on you.
He learned.
I'm betting on
He
you.
learned. You don't want to miss round 2.
Can you get me in? Can I get some late?
You gotta wait. You missed that. You gotta wait till it launches, man. So like, it's my thing is real simple, bro. People are tired of getting robbed by gas fees. We know Ethereum is very popular. We know it's full. I can give people the world's largest free
I
airdrop.
can teach you how to make a layer 2 solution on Ethereum
I'm not
that
interested.
you can migrate to.
I'm not interested
Where
for the
you
same
wouldn't
reason.
have to think about the underlying layer 1
Bro,
security.
why don't you just do it yourself and get rich? Go do it.
Because I
You don't need me.
I don't want to propagate the Hex ecosystem.
Okay, well, I'll do that next then, okay?
Well,
After my wallet,
why don't,
maybe I'll do
why
a layer
don't you
2
do
for
it
you.
now, and then you don't have to worry about delaying the Pulse Chain launch all the time because you don't have developers that understand how to.
No, the reason it's delayed is because they are good. They weren't good if they already launched. That's the thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
They're
because
so-
they're
they're
good,
so
that's the
good
reason
that
we're not
it's
launched. Yeah, the Geth code actually sucks balls. We're fixing Geth's problems. Their shit sucks. We're fixing the problems that we inherited from them sucking.
You got like one PR. You got one
Yeah,
code request.
why would I make their shit better if I don't have to? Our code
Because
rotation and
you're
validation.
using their stuff.
I understand how open source works. I know what I have to release.
If you
on my
understood
download.
how open source works, if you want them to alert you on bugs, you have to give them.
Hey.
Let Richard have his last thought.
Okay.
Let him close this thing out.
Real simple.
Right time.
Hey. Everyone knows that Pulse Chain is going to be a success. Everybody knows it. All the other L1s that have sucked have been a success.
Everyone knows that the price is gonna pump, sorry.
There you go, right? And it's pretty hard to fail compared to what these other dudes have done, which have been miraculous. They've lost billions of dollars to code bugs. Billions. We haven't lost any, a penny, never. So I'm excited about the future. As much angry as it is, he's buying Pulse. People you know are invested in it. I think it's going to turn out amazing. This parade of imaginary horribles, it doesn't come true. You know, like the world sucks. Crypto is one of the few things in the world that's actually good. It's one of the few things helping return power to people. And I'm happy to be part of it. And I hope that one day he's happy too. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to have to do to win him over. Maybe 10 million X or something. I don't know. No, he's immune to price. If you're immune to price, I don't know what to do, man.
I just want you to make a bet with me whether or not Pulse Chain is gonna have a catastrophic bug in the next year or so.
I don't think it will. I'll bet you 10 grand on it if you want.
Would you like a final thought?
I'll bet you 10 grand on it if you want.
Final thought?
Yes, would you like a final thought before we wrap? And then everybody gets a photo with Richard.
I'm just happy that everyone came here. That's
Yeah,
all.
it was good seeing you guys. You know, sorry about the.
Quality short, but-
You know, this is really spontaneous. We just immediately came with us. And thank you so much for coming, man.
Thank you.
I hope I'm able to win our bet. We didn't make a bet, but I'm just saying. I believe in my devs. We're not going to release until it's really, really solid. And I can show you privately why it's more
It's going to
solid.
be extremely interesting to follow you on your journey. You're one of the most entertaining people that I know. You're one of the most smartest people that I know.
Thanks, man.
And every day that you continue doing your shit is fucking, it's just awesome. and
We're going to make crypto great again.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Hey, if you want a photo, come into the center.
Hey, long time. I don't recognize you. So where should we take the photos, man? Where's good light?
Right here is yourself.
Yeah, but we got to make it good. All right, you know what? I'll just power's up.
Yeah, the power's up.
So, anybody who wants pictures, let's do it. Yeah, you can. Hey, how are you? Hey, my pleasure. Thank you. So this is the light. Hopefully it's good. Hey, man. I'm warning y'all. I had a cough, man. So like, 2 or 3 days of cough. Scary.
Yeah, I know. If you want to do it for your phone, but you're gonna, yeah, because then you come down. It
They
takes
say
time.
you guys don't take pictures. I'm like, hey, yeah, I should have lied. I like to delete it. Thank you. I did. I see it. What's up, Nick? How it is, man? Congratulations. Welcome to the party, bro. We're out here enjoying the nice weather. Come on in. How are you? Hey there. Nice shirt, man. Nice shirt. I like it. Up and to the right. Come on, bring it up. Come on, homies. High duty cycle. How are you? How are you? It's my homie.
One second, just now. There you go.
My pleasure, man.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been good. Can't complain.
Thank you very much. I can take
How are you?
I'm gonna post
Nice
everything.
beard, man. Nice beard.
I'm gonna post everything on Twitter, you know, guys.
Is it working for you?
I'm just trying to get some light.
No, I'm putting in your car.
Thank you, man. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I like it. I like it.
This guy's up next. This is you.
Hey, how are you?
No, like he's trying to get you.
Om ni har Twitter, alla kan ställa va? Om ni har Twitter, jag kommer lägga ut den.
Nobody's tall here.
Jag har been to all the Jag kommer lägga ut allting på Twitter.
Hey man, make me look like a bitch. Goddamn. Nah, it's fine. I like the big man. I like the big.
How's Kemps is doing?
Kemps is. Oh, he's doing alright. I guess he's doing school shit right now. I haven't seen him chat on. Well,
he told me like he's auditing the.
Okay, what you can do, you can remove some of your
we got two chapters. We have an audit chat.
Jag kommer att knäppa kort med min egen också på Twitter.
Maybe I can do like this.
Hey, pleasure working with him.
We have 2 fights.
Hey there, how are you?
Gigabytes. Thank you. Plug it.
I wish I won harder, but it's like, all right, whatever. Yeah, go. Hey, how are you? Doing it? My pleasure, man.
I'm gonna post everything on Twitter, so you know, guys. My name is Sean. You can find me by Sean Abrahamson on Twitter.
Thank you.
Here you go. Lots of pictures. I'm gonna choose the best one.
Hey, how are you? Nice, man. I'm glad I could entertain you. So you're dressed like a fucking clown. I've been watching basketball. It's nice.
Overnight.
I look all shiny. Shiny. Shiny.
Keep one person.
Hey, how are you? The first time I'm wearing these out, just like, see, they look, I thought I looked smart.
Let's free up a little bit of space.
Hey,
I'll give you a second.
I like it. That is beautiful.
But there's going to be some.
Can't get nicer weather. Perfect. Hey, how are you? Sean, you're good at this shit, man. You're like a machine gun. Hey, how are you? You be on this side of the door. How are you? I'm good. All right.
You can take with your mobile too.
Yeah, I'll take one for you. Having fun?
Tomorrow, like that.
See? I found him, man.
Thanks,
I found him, bro.
Who's next? Hi, dude.
I'm up. This is this one for my friend.
All right.
Okay,
All right, man. All right.
where should I press? Just the screen?
I'm used to this shit.
Where should I? How should I?
Oh, you.
I'm not familiar with the snap.
Oh, sorry, it's not.
The rounds.
Yeah, the round was my
Yeah, right now. This is easy, man. I've had it way harder. Thank you. Right on in. Hey, what's up? Nice. All right. What's your reason? I know you saw it. Oh, nice. Yeah. Give me a Telegram and Twitter. I should. Thank you. You know, appreciate it. Keep the drum bass coming.
Yeah, I will do. Thank you.
Hey, how are you? Good to meet you. You look Swedish. You look Swedish. Just said, you know, I'm just going to go to the Vasa Museum and then just go home. There's like no girls in this room. Crazy.
You guys want to go for some more beers?
Hey, how are you? Hey, also Swedish.
Yeah, after.
Nice.
Thanks for saving me.
Third brother? Very honor. That's all she said.
I literally had like 10 minutes.
Nice. So, I bet you get murdered out of it. Hey, man, what's up? All right, you all right? True. That is true. It's the worst place to go.
Let's go card, right? Fan vad stressigt. Jag är fortfarande igång. Jag måste closea den.
Come on, let's
I was
start.
scared. And
Fired
she
up.
twice. So it was like that.
All right.
It was. And,
Can we please take
All right.
What are you, some sort of Mexican?
Welcome to the Worst Damn Crypto Show, period. I'm your host, Romanian Dan. I got with me the famous Exter Morgan, Bullet.